Good morning and welcome. I thought I would celebrate the finish of my swap journal with you. It has been a road that I have enjoyed traveling on. This journal is for a swap with my friend Louise, and I am going to be so happy to send this to her this week. Thus far, I've been working on the signature, but I used a acrylic plastic placemat for the cover. It works a treat. You can paint on it, you can use super heavy gesso, works beautifully through a stencil. You can collage on it. It's just wonderful. And to show you that that is indeed the case, this has both gesso through a stencil, collage, and some paint on it. And I'm sitting watching it on a weekly basis to make sure that everything works the way it ought, and it is certainly doing it. So, I used this pretty tie closure, and I want to talk for a minute about the sewn binding. I used something that I used to use, many years ago when I was stitching. And I'm sure some of you know about it, but in case you don't, this is DMC. It's called Pearl, P-E-R-L-E, Pearl Cotton, DMC Pearl Cotton. And they come in sizes 3, 5s, and 8s. This is the thickness 5. I believe that I found these in Michael's, but I know most of the stores that have that cross-stitch and needlework section often carry these. Now let me show you why they are particularly nice. I'm going to bring you in. This is very, very beautiful quality, 100% cotton, and you'll notice it is soft and it has a lovely sheen. It's twisted thread, and it would be almost impossible to untwist it, but it can be done. I don't know why you would, and it pops right back. So this works beautifully. I used double thickness to sew this journal, but as you can see, it almost looks silky and it certainly feels wonderful. So this is another option that you might consider, and it certainly is not expensive. I don't know, maybe it was $1.29 or $1.59, and there's quite a lot of it there. So let's go back now to the journal that you have been watching me work on. I collaged some coffee dyed papers to the inside covers, front and back. You can see how wonderfully it took, and that is just matte medium on one side. And here we go on the page turn. This front cover you had seen before, but you'd seen it like this, and I added this tag with that had a grid on the back, a graph page on the back, which was wonderful. This page I worked on recently. This is coffee dyed paper with a stamp. This is neutral paper, and it is a little bit heavier than many, so that I was very tickled with it. This cardstock certainly is able to take anything that you throw at it. I made this pairing of tag and pretties. I just call them pretties. And it holds an inclusion. So, this was the piece of my painty paper that I added, stenciling. This is the envelope that you saw me work on previously, with the piece of folded vintage paper. That certainly also can be written on. I decided to let this piece of paper speak for itself, and it certainly is pretty. It even has a little bit of gold underneath. This was a piece of my collage, and I decided that she was so pretty that she just needed to be in this journal. And I collaged this piece of ledger paper on the back of this white page. And in here, I have a writing spot that just called for Valentino, a little bit of a ribbon, some stamping, and this background stamping. So that is number one. I think I'll put so we can see Valentino. And this tag with a journaling spot on the back. I just put a tiny touch of the aqua stenciling on this page. This is a page from an old book. This is the envelope, which was my first effort in this new signature that I have been working on. And let's put this one so that it goes up here, with a small tag to bring out the coloration in here. Piece of my painty paper and a tag with some journaling area and some collage. Isn't she a pretty girl? She is in here. This is a page from that I had done my dyeing with Tattered Angels, and it's from my Thurber album. I decided to add this, and this might very well be my favorite tag. I added some of my paper onto the back with the Tattered Angels underneath, Glimmer Mist, a little stamping, and collaging little bits that I got from my handy-dandy or ever-ready bottomless pit of an envelope, a piece of a French card, some burlap, and I decided to put that one in with a paper clip so that Louise can do as she wishes with that. Another piece of my painty paper, a folded bit, a little embellished tag in here, and the center of the journal with the tie for the pearl cotton that I tied the journal with. This side is a pocket, and no, it's a partial one, and another tag for journaling. And I would, this was a raggedy paper, according to Nick the Booksmith, and I just liked her idea. So it has bits of my painty paper and things that were lying on my desk, a piece of printed burlap, and this lovely piece, and this I had been hoarding for quite a while, and I used the center of this flower. Let me show you what I used. Let's see where it is hiding. Here it is. I'm sure you've seen them in, I know I got this one in Joann, pearl and pen, this one in gold, and it gives a very pretty three-dimensional effect. Takes a while to dry, yes it does, but the end result is worth the wait. Another pocket with an embellished tag, the other part of that painty paper, more of the craft colored cardstock with stenciling. I decided to use this piece that was left over from one of the cuts to make a pocket, and then I decided that that was very, very plain, so I used my turquoise StazOn and included this embellished tag that I made. There again, another girl. This page I decided to leave this nice neutral color, but I just used a piece of washi. The other part of my Thurber. And on this one, I added a folded piece of journaling spot with a paper clip. Another unembellished, other than to say that I did stencil and included this bit with a little bit of outlining with my brown Le Pen. The back of that sheet, the flap of the envelope with some stenciling, a pocket from a card that I'd had in my stash, some more of that original front cover paper with some stamping in the turquoise, a piece of fabric, and that is up in here. The fabric belly band, and behind it an embellished tag that can be added to, or whatever that Louise decides to do with this. The other side of that paper, and this one, and finally the back page, which I used my gifted origami envelopes with these beautiful colors. I decided to add this and this to this back pocket, just to bring out these colors and continue them up here. And this is that fascinating little little pocket that has this spot for this little piece of embellished card and an opening, and I'm thinking, does that one fit through? You know, I'm going to put this through so that it's obvious that that is almost like a belly band on that. So, and here, the back page with collaged dictionary page, and the back cover of this journal. This has been great fun. Of course, I'm now looking forward to starting December Christmas fun in my my first ever Christmas album, a junk journal, junk journal. And I'm going to begin to work and share the process with you of my first ever commissioned journal. And I am going to have so much fun making Ruth's journal with you. So, if you have enjoyed my process, please consider giving me a thumbs up, leave a comment, and I do try to answer them, and I certainly appreciate them. In fact, I particularly appreciate the lady whose name has slipped my mind, but saw me having all that difficulty with the rotary cutter and told me how to do it correctly. Carol, push away from you. Thank you so much for telling me that, because it's incredible how well it works that way. So, share with a friend, and I would appreciate your subscribing to my channel. Oh, I see these over here, and I forgot to mention this. This super heavy gesso that I put through the stencil here has just the tiniest bit of folk art yellow ochre paint into it, just to cut some of the very dead white color of the gesso. And if you, I'm not sure whether you can see, but this definitely has a touch of that ochre color. So, I hope you've enjoyed. I know I have enjoyed making it, and I'm going to be so happy to send it to Louise. Bye now.